1.4 Exponents in order of operations. 8 squared is how we read that. The 2 is the exponent. The 8 is the base. In 1.3 we talked about factors. These are numbers that are multiplied. And so with our exponents, the base, the exponent will tell us how many times to use the base as a factor, the number that is multiplied. So 8 squared is going to be 8 times 8, which would equal 64. Now, a common mistake is to say 8 times 2 equals 16. And this is wrong, but it's a very common mistake. So be careful. All right. When we look at these two, -4 squared and -4 squared, at first they look very similar. The only difference is the parentheses. But what we're going to do here is we're going to cover up the negative, and we're only going to focus on what this exponent touches. So it's 4 times 4, and then we bring down that negative sign. Well, after we get our 16, keep coming down. So this is -16. Here, the exponent is next to the parentheses, so everything inside is included. So it's -4 times -4, which is going to give me a positive 16. So we want to remember the exponent goes with or affects what it touches. And over here, it's not touching the negative, it's just touching the 4. We're going to use exponents in our order of operations. Probably remember this as PEMDAS, or maybe please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The P for parentheses. It's also for brackets, set notation, and absolute value. Which absolute value, when the number comes out positive. We will work inside the parentheses first, and then the brackets, then the set notation, moving outwards, still following our order of operations. The next one is E, and we just talked about that. That's exponents. The M and the D, we're going to write or between. It should be multiply, or divide when we're moving left to right, whatever is first. We're going to do the same thing with adding. It's going to be add or subtract when we're moving left to right in order. So we're going to put the or here also. Add or subtract, multiply or divide. Alright, the best way to do order of operations, we can watch a couple and then practice. So let's just go ahead and let y'all practice. Start with some easy, fairly easy ones. We'll move through to some harder ones later after we talk about some multiplication and other things. Let's look at, just go ahead and go on and practice. Now with this first one, this sign is a fraction sign, but it also means division. And I don't think I mentioned that in the fraction section. So we want to keep this in mind. But this division is going to be last. So do everything on top, everything on bottom, and then do this division. So I'll just call that number 1. Guess it really doesn't matter. In my face-to-face classes, I would have some of you get up and put these on the board for participation. I guess I could play some music while I was writing all this down. Hopefully you've been writing while I've been writing. Okay, then you want to go ahead and pause it. I'm going to start writing the answers down, so you want to be paused while I do that. I may not have left myself enough room here. Okay. Alright. Move left to right. Here we're doing the exponents first. Add the top. Finish it out with division. So here I left it as a fraction reduced. But here, because I could make it into a whole number, I did. That's reducing this all the way. 2 times 3. And then let's see. And then the final division. Okay, we'll do some more as we go through the semester, and we'll be doing some more of these very soon. I want to go ahead and look at some other things. to mention before we move on to our next section. Okay, as you're going along, this is an online class, so it's a little bit difficult for me to ask you if you have any questions. But if you do, email me. It's cburns@mclennan.edu. So anytime you have a question about something maybe something I covered on the video or in your homework, if you'll just hit the Ask My Instructor button in Course Compass. Hit that Ask My Instructor button. It sends me the problem. And I want you to send me, send your work. You can type it. I can type most of my math stuff. It's kind of messy. Do that again. Type it. There we go. You can do it. So, the nice thing about using the Course Compass is that it does send me the problem, so you don't have to retype it. But if there's something about a video that you have a question about, go ahead and send me an email. And then I'm going to go ahead and mention a couple more things about this section, and then I want you to do some more practice. That looks like a lot. All right, here we go. Let's look at the symbols for multiplication. And again, some of you is this going to be still something that you've done recently? Others of you, it's been a while. So we'll just refresh our memories. We've got 5 times 2, 5 times 2. Both of them can be in parentheses. Could be next to brackets. 7 times 8 plus 2. That's multiplication. Can't use the X anymore. If I use it, I'll circle it because I do like to use it, but we can't because of the variables. Some other things with the fractions. Zero over 8 equals 0. 8 over 0 equals 0. We wonder which one is right. If we've got a couple of things we can remember, one is 0 under. A student taught me this. Then undefined. Another one you can think of, the denominator equals the number of pieces. And so we can't have 0 pieces. Or another way is think about checking division. So check division with multiplication. And let's see how I'll show you how that works. If I take these two and multiply them, I do get 0. But if I take these two and multiply them, I don't get 8. And so that's why, again, this is undefined. So that's checking with the division. Denominator, number of pieces. This has 8 pieces. This has 0 pieces. You can't have 0 pieces. But I like the 0 under. Undefined. Under. Okay. Also in this section, we have the word evaluate. Substitute value. We'll have an expression like x plus y. And they'll tell us x equals 10, y equals -3. I recommend that you replace the letters first with parentheses and then come in and put your values, substitute your value here and here. Clean this up a little bit. A plus and a minus equal a minus. And then we can get our answer. It'll be important that you do the parentheses, especially if you have exponents and negative numbers, so you want to watch out for that. So let me show you another one. Have x over z plus 4y. That's another way to show multiplication, is a number next to a letter. So I want to go ahead and add that to my list up here. 4y. That's another way to show multiplication. X equals 12, y equals 3, and z equals 4. So we've got, now here I'm not going to bother with the parentheses. 12 over 4. I do want to be sure that I'm putting the right number in the right place. Now, because this is multiplication, it'll be helpful to put that parentheses to remind me that I'm going to multiply times 3. 12 divided by 4, 4 times 3, and then we add everything together to finish it out. So the word is evaluate. It also sometimes just means solve or simplify. So here we're using it to substitute the value. You're going to have a lot of review of just various things in chapter 1. And so we're looking at translating phrases now. I'm going to translate. And we're going to rewrite phrases, word phrases, using numbers and symbols, plus, minus, divide, that kind of thing. And so I just want to remind you of a couple of special situations. So go ahead and write these down, and then we'll discuss how they are different. Oh, I messed that up. Alright, so we've got 5 less 10, 5 less than 10, and 5 is less than 10. So let's kind of focus on these words less. Less than, is less than. 5 less 10. In this case, we're talking about minus, and we're going to go in the order that we've got it. So we'd have 5 minus 10. But with less than, we're still subtracting, but the 5 is going to come to the back. So it's 5 is less than 10. But that is on there, it's an inequality. 5 is less than 10. So when we translate in order. Except when it says less than, and there's one more, subtract from. If we say subtract 8 from 9, it's going to be subtraction, but the 8 is going to come to the back. Subtract the 8 from the 9. So then I just want to remind you of some words that we use. We have sum. Remember, this is an answer to addition. We could say problem, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Then we have difference. It's the answer to subtraction. Product. So that's when we looked at the factors. This is the answer to multiplication. And quotient is the answer to division. Okay, just be careful, especially with, you do translate in order except for these 2 times, and so you do want to be careful with those. Read the directions carefully, and so that's going to be your 1.4 homework. Then I'm going to talk about adding and subtracting real numbers next, and again we're going to kind of move through these a little bit quickly, and I want you to do your homework as soon as you can. So if you have questions, you can ask me.